Hi everyone. We are going to be painting today. And since we're in our classroom, I wanted to just quickly go over what it's going to look like when we paint in your room. So on your table, on your desk or table, you're going to have a little cup that I'm going to give you, and I'm gonna fill this up with water with a pitcher, okay? Please be very, very careful that we are not spilling that water. We don't wanna spill it on the floor, we don't wanna spill it on your desk, certainly not on your clothes or your project. So please make sure that you are being very careful and watching where that cup of paint is all the time. You don't wanna reach for something and accidentally knock that over. You will have a paint set, and your paint set should have a brush inside. So we're also going to put a placemat down on your desk too. Okay, so you'll have your placemat and your project, paper towel, cup of water, and then your paint set. So what I do when I'm first starting painting is I just take a little bit of water. Ooh, you can't see me. I just take a little bit of water and wet each of my paints, and that kind of wakes up the paint and kind of gets the paint ready to work. So especially when it's a brand new set, which probably is going to happen to a lot of you today since it's our first time painting. So I just put a little water on there just to kind of wake it up and get it ready to do its work. Now, we talked about lots of different ways that we can paint. If you are painting over crayon, we call that Crayon Resist. If you're painting over Sharpie, that's pen and ink. And remember, you can layer colors by painting, letting it dry, and then putting another color on top. You can also do wet in wet. So that's what I am going to do. So remember, first you want to wet that area that you're going to paint. And I'm doing this right over my sun because my sun is crayon. And so Crayon Resist, crayon's tough and strong. It'll push that paint right off. Then I'm going to choose my color, my first color, and I get some water on my brush. Oops, sorry, you can't see it again. Get some water on my brush, and then I just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth on my paint. When I paint, I go slow and careful, just like when I'm coloring. Now, I want my colors to mix, so I am going to rinse my brush, and I'm going to paint my next color, which is orange. Back and forth, keeping my paintbrush nice and neat. And we say that we don't want our paintbrush to have a bad hair day. And my colors will mix on my paper because I want them to, because I'm painting a sunset. If I didn't want them to mix, then I would wait until they dry to paint the next color. I'm gonna switch colors, so I rinse my brush. No tapping, that's very important when we're in our room. Just rinse it, squeeze it a little bit on the side. These are little brushes, so you don't really need to squeeze it too much. And now I'm gonna paint my last color in my sky, which is red. So I'm letting those colors mix on their own. I'm not trying to make them mix by taking my brush and mixing them. I want watercolor to do its magical thing, and it'll mix on its own. Notice, just like when I color, I paint back and forth, nice and neat. And now I'm going back in, showing improvement. I'm making I'm fixing all my white spots. When I'm done with my brush, I'm gonna rinse it very well, and notice I'm not stirring it really hard or anything like that. I'm just rinsing it very gently in the water, and I'm not tapping it on the side because that will spill your cup or possibly make water fly. We don't want that to happen. If you want to dry your brush, that's what your paper towel is for. You just go back and forth on your paper towel also, okay? Now for cleanup, I will be calling you up to pour this into the bucket. I have a bucket where we're gonna put all the dirty water, and then your paint set, we're just going to put your paintbrush back in your paint set, and we're gonna let that dry, because if you tip it, the paint could come out, okay? Now, when we go to the drying rack, what we'll do is carry our placemat and our project like this to the drying rack and put them both carefully on the drying rack so that it can dry and stay nice and neat and nothing will fall through. Okay, so that's how we'll clean up at the end of class. So have fun painting today. Bye.